Hello. My name is Holly Hartman, and good morning, and welcome to the 7-day No Complaining Challenge. I'm so glad you said yes to you. If you're new to the group, welcome. So glad that you're here. If you've been working with me for a while, I'm so glad that you're here and that you know that these challenges work. And I'm just so happy and delighted that I get to do this free in this group and offer this value to you. So you might be thinking, "Oh gosh, why did she start this challenge?" Or "I want to do this challenge." Yeah, and if you're here, just feel free to make a comment and say hello, where you're calling in from or watching, because we're live, and let me know, what if you're joining the challenge, if you're excited about the challenge, if you're nervous about the challenge, how do you feel about it? Just type that in the chat and let us know that you're here. So glad that you're here with us today. So, I've noticed, and this is who I am. I like to lead by example. Complaining, it's part of the human experience. Sometimes we can get caught in it. We can have uh, habits that start up for us, and we don't realize that we're doing it sometimes. And so this challenge for me is I noticed I personally was starting to complain about the complainers. I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to change my own mindset. I have to be aware of how much I'm complaining. And it's so easy to do during this season. It's super busy. Traffic's different. Maybe people are out shopping that aren't normally out. Maybe money's tight, or you're dealing with a lot of stressed out people, and maybe they aren't the friendliest to be around, and maybe they're just dumping all their complaining, and maybe that's why you're here. Or maybe you actually invited your workspace to join this challenge, so then we get to do it together instead of pointing the finger at somebody else and saying you are the complainer. We get to look inward and start to do some of this work ourselves. Now, is this going to be a very intensive challenge? No. But is it going to be easy? Maybe not. Just depends on where you're at with it. But I'm not going to make it hard, meaning like the steps you have to take in this challenge are not hard. It's just more about bringing awareness around what we're doing and having support and accountability. We start to make changes when we can challenge ourselves every day, challenge our thoughts. And the only thing we can change is our own thoughts and our own actions. We cannot control anybody else. We are powerless against anybody else. Oftentimes, complaining is about power, and or it can be about a habit. So I did create a workbook that you can download, and it's in the file section, or I will be posting this in the guide section as well. Or if you just look on the wall right now, you'll find the 7-day No Complaining Challenge. You're welcome to print that out or just save it and look at it. You do not have to share with us what you've written in it, but it's more for your own guide for every day. You're also welcome to print this off and share it with your coworkers, because the people that we surround ourselves around make an impact, and you're with your coworkers the majority of the time. That are your family. So encourage others around you, especially maybe you're thinking of a friend that complains a lot. Maybe you encourage them, say, "Hey, would you like to do this challenge with me?" You don't have to point out that they complain. They may not even be aware. Or maybe they're going through a season of life where it really is hard and they're just trying to auditorily process it, but maybe they haven't learned how to ask for permission and consent before they dump that. And so they might be able to learn along the way. I'm going to do a daily video based off of what you all share you're struggling with. I will come on and do a training the next day and talking about that. Maybe there's a little pivot that you need to change, a little reframe. I will come on and do a training. So you're going to help me by giving me what's going on. What do you struggle with? So I can bring the value that you need. So I'm going to go through the five tips quick here, because I want to honor your time this morning. Thank you for being on. So first off, we complain for two main reasons. Now, there are other reasons, but these are the two main reasons. We feel powerless. Many of us have experienced abusive relationships, whether it's our family, friends, workers, and oftentimes we can get caught in the complaining trap when we have been in those situations before, or it's a habit. It's just something that we do. And Right now, I think a lot of people are stuck in that habit, complaining about the weather, complaining about traffic, complaining about work or that boss, or complaining about money. It's very easy to get stuck in that trap, and we often have no idea we're doing it. But when we start to make these shifts, one, your energy is going to shift and people are going to want to be around you more, but also you're going to impact and influence other people to start making this change and them start to look at it as well. So, in order to remove something, so this is a habit you have, an action that you're doing, a thought that you're having, in order to shift that, we have to add something else in. And that'll help us reframe it and package it up and make these shifts. So 5 tips for reframing. The first one is practice gratitude. So what I'm going to ask you to do, and it's in the workbook, is to write 3 gratitudes a day. Start your day off with gratitude. You start off with an elevated energy and more people want to be around you. If you're struggling with a gratitude, you can do A's, 3 things that start with A, 3 things that start with B, and do that for the week if that's what you need to do. Or really think about things that like maybe you take for granted. Okay. So we're going to write 3 things. Or think about maybe something that you complained about the day before, and how can you reframe that and look at it in a way of gratitude instead. The second one that you can do, now you don't have to do all 5 of these, but these are all 5 tools that are going to help you, is if you notice that you're complaining about maybe a coworker or maybe your children or your spouse or significant other or a family member, turn it around and praise them instead. Look for something good that they're doing. We often get in these polarized comments, or like always, never. That polarized absolute language really doesn't exist. They're never always this way. It's not always that way, but our mindset thinks it is, and so that can get us caught in the complaining. So to pull yourself back and go, okay, what can I praise this individual for? What are they doing well? And do more praise than complaining and see that shift. It'll also change your energy as well. We're going to focus on success too. Oftentimes, we will be really down on ourselves and think, oh my gosh, I did not do it good enough. That inner critic that comes in might help with that complaining, right? And so, what we're going to do now at the end of the day, I want you to write your successes. I want you to focus on at least one thing that you did well that day. One thing. And that could be if you're battling depression, because we're going to have all people, all different levels. If you're battling depression and it just means you got out of bed and you made your bed today, celebrate that success. Or maybe for you, you're working out in the field right now and you have a sales call you have to make and you close that sale because your energy was different, celebrate that success. Because when we start to celebrate our successes, we do a reward system, and then you're going to want to continue this habit, and it's going to keep you, not only the gratitude in the morning will keep you elevated, but thinking about your successes for the day. And it may be that you just celebrate that you didn't complain 10 times today, you only complained 5 times. That is worth success. That's worth celebrating. And then the very last thing, or fourth, is letting go. Focus on the things that you have power to change. Like I said, we only have the power to change our own thoughts and our own actions. We do not have the power to change other people. And so when you start trying to stop trying to control everything, whew, that frees up so much space. So let go of the things you have no control over. Like you don't have control over the traffic other than the way that you're choosing to go. Maybe choose a different route, or maybe choose to leave 5 minutes later or 5 minutes earlier. So like you might be dodging some of the traffic, but you don't have control over what's happening in that moment. So you just have to let it go. So what you can do in that moment is, for some, that might be religious prayer. For others, it might just be more spiritual. Either way, positive affirmation or reframing that thought. So scientific research shows that a daily prayer or affirmation reduces stress, boosts positive energy, and promotes health. So this whole challenge is super easy. It's all about becoming aware. Now, I've watched some other challenges where they do a bracelet, and one of their challenges was, every time you complain, you move the bracelet over to the other arm. And their goal is to go 21 days. So if you complain, you take the bracelet off and you put it on the other wrist. and then you start over on day one. That's not what we're going to do on this challenge, but having a bracelet on your arm, and anytime you complain, maybe snap it, or like this is a hair tie, or something to bring awareness that you're complaining. This first day, you may complain. This isn't about progress, not perfection. This is about bringing awareness of where our thoughts are. If we're in that negative energy, we're going to attract more of it. But if we can start to change and shift our thoughts and our perspectives and how we navigate the world, your energy is going to shift and your relationships are going to shift. So I'd love for you to write in the chat. Thank you, everybody that's here and that is open to doing this challenge. I am so, so glad that you're here, and I encourage you to join. So download the workbook. Each day has a space for your daily gratitude. I also want you to kind of catch yourself. If you're complaining and you catch it, just make a little tick mark or make note like, oh, I just complained again. Because what I want you to see is that by the end of the week, you're going to be reducing your complaining. The goal is no complaining, but don't shame yourself and stop. I don't want it to be about perfection. It's about progress. And then I want you to focus on your success, and then a positive affirmation on how you can reframe it. And an affirmation is framed in I am. It's in a present tense, and it doesn't contain anything negative, and keep it short. So I am positive. I have elevated energy. I only say positive things. Whatever you need to do to reframe it, and feel free to post those things below. And then tomorrow I'll come on with another video. So if you're finding anything challenging, or if you have questions about how to navigate something, put it in the chat, and I'm going to be coming in and doing a daily video to address those concerns and help support you on this journey. So thank you so much, everybody that's here. Many blessings to you, and have an amazing Monday and a fantastic week of 7 days of no complaining. Bye, everybody.